Welcome back, guys, to our channel. We're going to introduce you to another project here. This is our 1966 C60. I built this thing 4 years ago.
I thought it was 5.
4 or 5 years ago. It's getting to be a while. I built this truck in basically a week. I had the cab sitting on the chassis on 4x4s for about a year, and then I had a week off work, and I basically built this truck in a week out of necessity of we were moving shops. So had to get this truck together. I did some things that weren't supposed to be on this truck this long, and we've bought some other parts to make the truck better. So basically what we're going to do is go back and repair what's gotten screwed up because the truck's been assembled for so long in the incorrect way, and we're going to modify it more. So we put this cab and front clip on a 93 Ford F700 chassis. The cab was hitting the side and torn up pretty good. It's got 12-valve Cummins in it, Eaton 6-speed, and a Rockwell rear end. So let me see the camera and we'll kind of go through this here. Boy, pop the hood, would you? So everything fit in here pretty good. This engine, even in the Ford chassis, which is its original mount, was mounted pretty low in that truck. It's mounted pretty low here. It's kind of a mess. I built this thing in a hurry, and we've had to go back and fix a couple of issues just to keep it going and on the road. And with as heavy duty as this truck is and as rough as it rides, it's starting to tear the cab up. And let me go over that. So up front, what we have here is I didn't have a good cab mount, and these frames aren't really designed to be welded onto very much. So I just made a little spacer, and then here in the back, which is where the problem starts, besides up front, I solid welded it. Well, I don't know if you could tell here, but we've had to go back through and spot weld all the back of the cab. And that's because the back of the cab doesn't flex. It doesn't move at all. But the front sure does. So now it's ripping the back of our cab out. Even though it's solid mounted, we're getting a lot of flex up front. And the front of the chassis, or the front of the clip, is solid mounted down there too. And it's just moving a whole bunch. Ripping the cab out of it. The back of the cab out. So it's kind of time to redo it. When the wreck occurred, they had a gooseneck on it, and I knew back when I built this truck that the bed was shifted over, and I'd cut the mounts several years ago to try and move it back over, and as you can tell, it was moved over quite a bit. And there's several of those mounts. Well, when I built the truck, I tried to move the bed, cut it all apart, tried to move it. Come to find out, the fifth wheel, or the gooseneck hitch, was welded to the frame and to the bed. So I just cut the fifth wheel, or the gooseneck hitch, out of it. I don't know if you can tell real good. There you go. But this truck has a massive rear spring in it, and it rides like a log wagon, doesn't it? Yeah. So what we ended up with is I bought a rear frame section off of a Kodiak bus. It's got a link system air ride on it and a whole nother rear axle, which I can't use for various reasons. So what we've decided is we're gonna take the bed off this thing today. About all that we should have left is some wiring, and we'll take the skid steer with the forks and we're going to lift it off. After I built this truck and we moved out of that shop, I really didn't have anywhere to put this truck, and I sold it and went to a guy up by Kansas City, and they changed the back of the headache rack and they put their company logo on it, which is fine. I mean, that's what you do. But we don't have any affiliation with Midwest. I think it was Midwest Construction. Not real sure. But while the bed's off, we're going to cut the headache rack off. It used to look a lot better than that. I had done some stuff to kind of change it up. And we're going to cut it off. I don't care for it. We're going to put out rods in the back. The other thing is this truck was a grain truck. I don't know who they are. It's not us. So we're going to take and hopefully take the lettering off and change it to ours. So factory seat, we had it recovered. This is buffalo hide and leather. Turned out to be a really nice seat. Cab's original. I think this truck had what, 56,000 miles on it?
Probably, I don't remember.
I don't remember. I bought the truck at auction. It was, you know, complete running 66 Chevy grain truck. And really good condition. All the patina and stuff you see on it, that's all made by God and Mother Nature. We haven't done anything to this truck. We need to clear it. Maybe a matte clear. The only thing not F700 or 66 C60 is the big aluminum radiator, the intercooler you can see tucked down there, which I want to do one up behind the grill. The gas pedal came out of a 78 Trans Am. It was one of my parts cars for my other car. And so the gas pedal worked out pretty good with a low car cable coming through the firewall. And then the cluster. You know, the original cluster wasn't going to work with the diesel, but works pretty good in here. We need to change steering wheel out instead of that big old honking 55-gallon drum lid. Get a half-ton pickup steering wheel in here to make entry and exit a little bit easier, because that's, as you can tell, there's my fist, so 4 or 5 inches, maybe 6. Not much to slide a thick thigh like mine underneath it. But this is our this is it, our long-lasting project. They're never really done. We call this truck Hulk. Big and green, mean. It's just angry at life most all the time. Always throwing a fit about something, ain't it? So there she is. We're gonna start taking this bed off, and we'll take you guys along with us as we put the air ride on it and make mounts for the cab, and hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes, see a little bit of fabrication and welding and such like that. You know, we're not a big shop. We got a little bitty building. That's it. We have basic tools: welder, plasma cutter, torch, and a vise, hammers. That's about it. We don't have anything special here. So we're gonna do what we can and get this thing done up right. floor up. So that's why I was just going to make mounts laying underneath the truck, and it's just not worth it. I have so much repair to do back here. And this cab's rust free. We were supposed to be taking this thing cruising today, but it's just tearing the cab up. It's just destroying it. And there's no reason to destroy a rust-free cab, especially on a truck like this. I mean, guys, if you're into these big trucks, grain trucks, stuff like that, even the half tons, these cabs are getting really hard to find in really good condition. And I paid $1,200 for the whole grain truck at auction, and pulled the cab, the front clip, and what I needed. I sold the half rotten wood bed, had a high torque 327 and a 4-speed in it, but I sold all the drive line out of it for $600, which means, you know, if you can do simple math, I got $600 in this cab. I paid $37.50 for the F700. You know, I might have 5,000 or 6,000 in this thing now. The air ride I bucked up on, that was $1,500 for a frame section. I think it's cut somewhere like right here on back. So I have everything off the Kodiak, but now it's on to trying to make some cab mounts. We're gonna get our tools cleaned up. Kind of forgot our train horns and our air tank were connected to the bed, so we're gonna clean that up and roll the truck up, or drive the truck up to the pole barn. This will be the last time you guys see this headache rack. It's coming off of this bed altogether. Let us know. I've been wanting to put a skirted flatbed on this truck. Build a skirted flatbed for it, whatever. But it seems like I'm the only one that wants a skirted flatbed.
Do a Western hauler.
That's what
Mom doesn't want one.
I want, a Western hauler type bed on here. What do you think?
I think it'd look good, but you know, the boss lady said no, so we can't do it.
Yeah, I know. Guys, the boss lady ain't here. She don't even know we're doing this right now. She's in love with this truck for some reason.
Yeah, so if this video never gets uploaded, we're dead.
Yeah. Hey, send the cops after his mom and my wife.
Yeah.
Because if we come up missing, you know, start looking there, because she loves this truck. She doesn't know that we're doing this to it. So she's not at home. When she comes home, she's probably gonna have some questions. It's not gonna be good. So yeah, we'll see y'all in a minute. Boy, that's gonna be tight. What do you think, boy?
That ought to be good.
I hope so. So what we got here, guys, is, let's walk out to the truck. I just 4x4 steel that you can see we cut this right off of. We have 2 of these, so just basically cut each side and then cut it down here and made 2. And then we took a hole saw and bored the center out for our mount. Here's another mount right here. So what we're hoping for is, this is really tight. I mean, like really tight, really close, which is fine once we get it in there. A little hammer action will probably help it out. Take these, bolt them through, bolt them into the factory cab mounts on the truck, and then we'll be able to locate this cross member up, down, whichever way we need to go, underneath the truck to get the back of the cab back in alignment. Of course, if you guys don't know, metal will be sandwiched in between there like that, and it'll give us flex up and down, and it won't rip the back of the cab apart, hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead and make the other mount. We have the other mount made. I got to cut the hole in it, but my drill press is really loud. I got a belt slipping on it, so we'll come back when the other mount's made. Alright guys, we got our mount made. So what we did, drilled a hole in it, tapped our mounts through, and then that'll give us flex up through there, and that'll mount to the bottom of the cab. These bolts are a little short, so I have to run to the hardware store. But you can get the idea of how it'll mount. And that'll give us some rubber support back here. We still have to do the front and repair the back of the cab, and probably going to have to look at re-engineering where the front clip mounts to up at the frame. These front clips are a little bit different than the half tons and stuff, so they're a little weird. But that's what we got here. So we'll mount these first. I think we're going to take this 2x2 bar that's right here and make a cross member that these mount to. But we'll bolt them in first. We'll kind of mock everything up. We'll burn it in and then cut these mounts out, because I know that the back of this cab is level from when I put these in. These are the same exact length, 4 inches each side. So I know it's level. I know it's square back here. So we'll make the new mount, bolt everything in, weld everything in, and then we'll cut these out. And then we'll have the movement that the back of this cab really needs. Once that's done, we'll move on to the front mount of the cab. We're going to do just about the same design here, except this will be longer. And say this is the outside of the frame rail here, and it'll mount to the outside of the frame rail. We'll weld it to the frame rail, and either that or make a plate and bolt it to the side of the frame rail. I ain't made my mind up front what we're going to do, but that's what we did. Just regular old 4x4 steel, some 2x2 steel, drill press, which we're lucky to have that, in a hole saw. It's super loud, but yeah, both of them are made up here, and we're going to move on. We'll show you how we finish it up here in a little bit. Alright guys, this is what we ended up with. I was going to weld it in, but we don't have 220 down here at the small shop, and this isn't going to weld, at least not without 220. So that's what we come up with. It's isolated, it's got its own cross member. We'll gusset everything up once we get 220 down here. Should be a week or two, I don't know. So this thing's going to sit for a bit, but we got it figured out, at least for the back.
We need to do like weld through primer on it so it doesn't rust.
Yeah, we'll do something. So super easy as far as the tools you have to have. Angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, grinder, flap disc, and a welder, you know, straight edge and a marker. So just about anybody can do this.
Hey guys, we got Hulk finished. We didn't get our 60. We didn't get to film the rest of it. Dad has changed his mind. We're not going to put the air ride rear clip in it yet. This winter we'll pull it back apart. The front cab mounts and the rear cab mounts are done. Bed's back on it. We cruised it yesterday, and it rides better. Just needs the air ride rear clip, and then it should ride very, very nicely. So yeah, if you guys can like and subscribe, we appreciate it a lot. Thank you.